Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Vitamin E is selenium. And B vitamins, there's so many that they're just as varied. Some are cobalt, some are molybdenum. It just depends on what it is. Some's manganese. So as we look at those things, we definitely want a natural source of B vitamins because they're the only ones that really, really work. And I love it because B vitamins, if you know the history of vitamins, there was like B47 or something. There were just tons of them. And they realized that some of them we produce them in our body, and so we can't call them vitalamines, meaning we need to get it in our diet. But some of the Bs were so vitally important for heart function that they just kind of got lost in the shuffle because they don't react when they're made synthetically. So where do we get the best B vitamins on the planet? We get it from things like liver. Liver's amazing, but how many of you out there are going to eat liver? I won't even eat liver, and my diet's pretty clean, and I'll eat just about anything sometimes. I've eaten bear heart, but I'm like, oh, liver's so not tasty. But I'll take it in a pill every day. I'm like, I don't mind doing that. Give me a pill. If you got a pill, I'll take it. And so I'll do it in a pill. But what the B vitamins do is the heart muscle has a nerve that connects to it. And that nerve is supposed to, almost like a cattle prod, jab that muscle and make it contract. And that's how it works. Well, B vitamins make that contraction, that forceful contraction, work correctly. As those muscles gain strength with the B vitamins, they're actually able to pull the valves closed and keep them closed instead of regurgitating blood back through, which is the murmur. The valves are not staying closed, and so the muscle is not strong. Now, in a lack of all of those things, the heart will try to compensate by growing bigger and bigger. Some of you may have been told you have hypertrophy. Well, hypertrophy is just huge. It's a big heart. The problem is with hypertrophy is the valve and the muscle around it clamp down nice and tight. Well, as it hypertrophies, it actually pulls away from that valve. And so now you have blood squeezing around the outside of the valve instead of through the valve because it doesn't have integrity. So you can get different types of regurgitation. And again, these are deficiencies. Now, I love back in the 40s and 50s, they had a K graph. You know, if you make a letter K and you see in the middle of the K, you know, if I had a line here, we have the letter K. And so in the middle where calcium is good, this is where a good heart and immune system functions. If I had too much calcium, I had heart disease. If I had too little calcium, you got cancer, more infections. That was the K graph. Yet most people have never heard of it. So calcium is incredibly important, not only for heart function, but also for immune function. And so it's great to get good calcium. Unfortunately, most of us are getting calcium carbonate. So if you go right now to your cupboard and you have calcium in your cupboard, you can pause this, go grab it, and then on the back of it, it says calcium as, or in the ingredients, it'll tell you what kind of calcium it is. And if it's a good brand, you will find nowhere on there it says calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is limestone. It's calcifying you, your muscles, your joints, your organs, your skin, your eyes, cataracts, your brain. It's calcifying everything. So you don't want to take calcium carbonate, by the way. And so if you have it, you could throw pills around your plants outside and in your garden, and you would have more calcium carbonate for your plants to break up that calcium carbonate, turn it into a live form of calcium, not an inert salt, and now attach it to another amino acid like malate or gluconate or hydroxyapatite or lactate, and it would go up into the plant. We would then eat the plant and get that calcium that way. That'd be a better way to do it. So vitamin C, vitamin E, very important for healing, their repair. Now, I want to go back to vitamin C for just a moment. How many of you are there out there that are descendants from an Ice Age survivor? Now, it's a trick question, because all of you out there in the sound of my voice are descendants from Ice Age survivors. Why is that important? Why would he even bring that up? What does that matter? Well, when an ice age hits, how many plants are available? You guessed it, not many. So do we have any greens where a lot of vitamin C comes from? No. Do we have any fruit? No. Do we have any berries? Not a chance. So we were lacking vitamin C. So without vitamin C, our blood vessels started to crack. And when they cracked, they started to bleed. Well, if we could not produce enough cholesterol to heal that crack, we died. And we didn't make any offspring. And so we didn't reproduce. So the only people that could form that fix-a-flat, that cholesterol plaque or plug, survived today. So you and I all have the ability to form a plaque in our artery when we're lacking vitamin C and our blood vessels crack and bleed. And so what do they see in our blood vessels? Hey, you've got plaquing. You need some cholesterol medication. Do you? I had a scab on my hand and I went to a doctor and he said, my gosh, we've got some platelets here and some red blood cells. You've got too many red blood cells and too many platelets. We need to develop a drug against those two things. Would you run from his office calling him a charlatan because it's a scab, dude? Why are you picking on why I formed a scab or the fact that I formed a scab? Then why are we so concerned about cholesterol? I have a whole podcast, hour long, on cholesterol. Please go and listen to it. I explain it in great depth. But that vitamin C is very important in healing and making sure the integrity of those muscle tissues that are in our arteries, because that's muscle, that they are sound and that they're doing their job. Now, if my calcium is too high, I'm going to get heart disease. We talked about that K-graph. Why would my calcium be too high and my blood becomes the next question nutritionally we want to ask? Why? Well, what raises blood calcium is sugar. Sugar, when it starts to get high in the blood, calcium tries to stabilize it. It's a blood sugar manager along with insulin. And so it'll try to be increased over and over in the blood. And now the little bitty tiny blood vessels that supply nutrients to all of our cells, the capillaries of our body, they start getting plugged up with calcium. So now we stop producing or stop supplying oxygen and nutrients to cells. And when that happens, we start to see problems like arthritis. So anybody out there with arthritis or knobby knuckles or anything like that, you can guarantee that you have some heart challenges already, because arthritis only occurs when you calcify those tiny little blood vessels in our bones that don't allow our bone cells to turn to cartilage cells and continue to make cartilage healthy for the joints. I already talked about the stomach and digestion and being important to detoxify the body. So we've talked about vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B, and calcium. Those are the biggies when it comes to nutrition. So I want to switch gears a little bit and now go into the mechanical aspect of heart issues. So there have been lots of anecdotal stories about chiropractors that have been at the right place at the right time with somebody having a heart attack, and they've adjusted them that pulled them out of the heart attack. And the mechanism is in the upper back is where the nerves go directly to the heart, even the blood vessels that supply the heart. So let's say I'm under stress and I'm getting tighter in my shoulders, and now I compress that nerve in my upper back, and now it's starting to spasm blood vessels in my heart. Now, should a nerve be allowed to spasm a blood vessel in a heart so much that it stops blood completely, causing a heart attack? No. But if I have secondary plaques forming and now it's already occluded, and now I get under stress and I'm spasming that blood flow, yes, it can absolutely do that. So though you might be helped by an adjustment, so if I came upon somebody and they're doing CPR, I'm like, let's adjust the dude or gal. Let's at least do something that might be helpful and continue doing chest compressions until the ambulance gets there and they can do their job. But because of that mechanism, we don't want to ignore the fact that a chiropractic adjustment can keep you de-stressed and keep your digestion better, improve elimination, improve your brain's communicating with the rest of you that starts to see, hey, we've got some blood sugar issues. We've got some calcium issues. You know what? I don't have enough vitamin C. I need you to start craving some salads. I've seen people come in and say, I want to eat vegetables now. Is that weird? Just getting adjusted? No, that's communication from here and in here and in here, all trying to tell you how to take better care of this wonderful machine that is awesome, our human body. And so, also with some of you, I'm going to get into sleeping now. Some of us sleep on our left side. I used to be a chronic left side sleeper. Went to finals, and just before that, our teacher, maybe it was a joke, he decided to tell us that, you should be a right side sleeper if you're going to be a side sleeper, because that means the heart is up because it's on the left and the liver is down because it's on the right. If you sleep on the left side, the liver's on top of the heart all night long. I thought, well, that makes sense. And I started right side sleeping, and I woke up for finals week. I'm like, oh my goodness, my neck is killing me. And I had torticollis. I walked around like that and I thought, wow, okay, don't try to sleep on your right side all in the first night. So for the next mechanical thing, I want to talk about the emotional aspect of heart. This is a weird symptom. For those of you that cry easily, that is an emotion that is actually saying that the heart may be kind of not healthy. So we think about other emotions like anger, that's more liver. We think of fear, that's more kidney, stomach. But crying easily at the drop of a hat can mean heart conditions. So I thought, wow, that's kind of wild as I started to research these things, because I'll ask people, a whole bunch of emotions. Do you experience any of these things? I tend to cry kind of easily. Okay, well, let's talk about maybe some heart stuff. And so I'll then ask them to stick their tongue out. And if you notice, the tongue is kind of smooth, but I'll see a red tip with heart conditions. I'll see also swelling on the side of the tongue, which is kidney, because kidney and heart are very, very closely related. The other organ that's very, very close related is the thyroid. Thyroid monitors calcium levels in the blood. That's part of its job, which is integral with the heart. And so those two organs together tend to go hand in hand. And kidneys, it's rare that you see a heart condition without a kidney problem. And so those are kind of all interrelated. Interesting enough, what does the kidney want a lot of? Vitamin C, vitamin A. So those are just some tidbits there. So when somebody comes to see me, and I have all these questions asked, then I start getting into the stress aspect of it. Because we all know that stress does some damages. We talked about when we're under stress, we hold it in our shoulders. And this is now doing damage to those nerves that go right to the heart. So if you're under a high stress job or a sedentary job and a high stress job, you've got kind of a double whammy there. You are going to want to do more and more things that are very, very heart protective. So my last and favorite topic I want to talk about is exercise, mechanically speaking. I have so many folks come in that they're tired and fatigued, and I'll run a heart scan and I'll see things not good, and they say, do I just need to exercise more? No, because 25 minutes of strenuous physical exercise depletes all the vitamin C and vitamin E in the blood, as tests show us. And so I tell people, I said, you're not really allowed to do any kind of exercising until you actually feel like you have enough energy in reserve to do that. Meaning, hey, I feel good all day long. I really feel like going and doing something. Great. Start slow. 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes is plenty. This is not a race. While I'm exercising, so that I'm not tearing down my heart. Because if you're really strenuous, you're 20s, and you're just going gung-ho, or you're in your teens doing 3-hour twice-a-day football practices, you are going to want to start treating your body like a high-octane race car that doesn't put just anything in. And they tear that race car and rebuild it often. You can't go and eat garbage. I remember reading Pumping Iron by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said there was a point when he realized he could no longer go out and party anymore if he wanted to win. He had to stop drinking beer and all these other things and really go after it and be very specific. And so you are the same way. If you're that high octane athlete, you're going to have to do something differently. If that is you and you're looking for some guidance, feel free. Text me or message me here, shoot me an email, whatever you want to do. It's totally good. I will respond. And so